Welcome. We're about to dive into something that's way more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about the art of telling a business's story, its past, its present, and even its future. We're talking about accounting, the one language that every single successful organization has to speak.
And no, it's not English, it's not Mandarin, it's not even Python or C++. It's the language that communicates value, performance, and health. It's the universal translator that businesses all over the world use to make their most important decisions. So here's our game plan. First, we'll nail down what accounting really is. Then we'll get into why it's so incredibly important. We'll check out the different types, see who's actually reading these reports, and then, this is the good part, we'll learn the 5 golden rules that make it all work. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together to give you a kind of financial X-ray of any company.
Okay, let's kick things off with the big one. When we say accounting, what are we actually talking about?
Now, it's easy to get bogged down in those first few words: recording, classifying, reporting. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is in that very last word: interpreting. That's the leap. That's where accounting goes from just being bookkeeping to becoming this powerful system for turning raw data into a clear story that helps real people make smarter choices.
So that leads us right to the so what question, right? Why does this language even matter? What kind of power does it actually give a business?
You can almost think of accounting as giving a business a set of superpowers. First off, it gives it a perfect memory, a flawless, systematic record of every transaction ever. Second, it reveals the truth, whether you're actually making money or losing it. Third, it gives you a crystal clear snapshot of where the company stands financially, right now. And finally, it acts like a security system, protecting the company's property and assets. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so just like any language has different dialects and slang for different situations, accounting isn't just one single thing. It's got specialized branches, each one designed for a very specific job. For instance, you've got financial accounting. That's all about creating reports for people outside the company, like investors. Then there's cost accounting, which helps a business get laser focused on what it actually costs to make something. Managerial accounting is for the folks inside the company, the leaders who need info to make big strategic calls. And of course, you've got government and tax accounting, which are their own special worlds. See, it's all about having the right tool for the right job. So, if accounting is telling a story, who's the audience? Who is actually sitting there reading this financial story? Well, the audience is huge, and they all want to know different things. Management needs it to steer the ship. Investors are asking, is my money going to grow here? The government wants to make sure you're paying your taxes. And even employees are looking at these reports wondering, hey, is this company stable? Is my job safe? Everyone, in their own way, has a stake in the story. Now, for any language to actually work, you need rules. You need a grammar that everyone agrees on so we can all understand each other. In accounting, these rules are the foundation of everything. They are absolutely crucial. Rule number 1, and this one is the big one. The business is its own person. Its money is completely, totally separate from the owner's personal money. The company's checking account is not the founder's piggy bank. This separation is the only way to truly understand how the business itself is performing. Okay, next up, accountants operate on a really important assumption, that a business is a going concern. Basically, we assume it's not going to shut down tomorrow. This is a powerful idea because it's what lets a company invest for the long term. Build a factory, develop new tech, because it's planning to be around for years to reap those rewards. And that brings up a really interesting problem, doesn't it? If a business is supposed to last forever, how do you ever stop and take score? You can't just wait until the end because there isn't one. So what's the solution?
The answer is actually pretty brilliant. We use the periodicity concept. We solve the forever problem by just chopping up that infinite life into nice, neat, equal chunks, like a month, a quarter, or a year. This is exactly why we have quarterly earnings reports and annual financial statements. They're just snapshots of a much longer journey.
This brings us to Rule 4, and this one is the engine that drives all of accounting. It's called double entry, and the core idea is beautiful. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Think about it. You buy a cup of coffee. The coffee shop gives away coffee, but it receives cash. Two things just happened, and they perfectly balance each other out. This system is what keeps the books honest and always in equilibrium.
And finally, rule number 5, the monetary unit concept. This is the last piece of our grammar, and it's simple. Look, you can't add 5 trucks to 3 laptops. It makes no sense. But what you can do is add the value of the trucks to the value of the laptops. By translating everything into a common currency, dollars, euros, whatever, we make sure we are always comparing apples to apples. So, when you take all these pieces, the definition, the purpose, the rules, and you put them all together, what do you get? Well, you get something incredibly powerful. You get a financial X-ray. And here we are, back at this definition, but it means so much more now, right? And notice that word art. It's called an art because that last step, interpretation, that's where the real skill is. It's about looking at all those numbers and seeing the story they're trying to tell you about where a business has been and where it's going. So, at the end of the day, here's the big takeaway. Learning the language of accounting isn't about becoming a math genius. It's about learning how to read the story of a business. It's this beautiful, logical system that, once you get it, empowers you to see what's really going on and to make way, way smarter decisions. So, I'll leave you with this thought. Every company you admire, or work for, or invest in, is writing its story in this language, every single day. Now that you know the basic grammar, what financial story are you going to go read first?